Hi guys, so I'm back with part 4 for my little mixed media cover journal. And sorry, in part 3, I didn't realise, but I think maybe my phone cuts off at half an hour video. I'm not sure, but anyway, it did cut off at 30 minutes. And so for 5 minutes, I was just sitting there talking to myself, which is, I suppose, not unusual, but anyway. So you did miss the very last 5 minutes of me painting the cover, but I was almost done anyway, so I'll just show you the final. Sorry, there's a glare. It's a bit dark here. It's quite early in the morning and I've got a lamp on, so there's a bit of glare on the cover, but it is a matte finish, not gloss. But anyway, I'll give you a quick, hope that's focusing. So I did paint the mesh, and I went over it, just gave it a light brush of gold because I wanted the black to still peek through from the mesh. Anyway, that's how he turned out. I still would have preferred pink over berry, but I think he turned out quite cute, and that was kind of the picture I had in mind when I started, of kind of like a backward S. Well, I suppose I don't know if anyone can see an S, but that's what was in my mind. Just a little tumble of bits and bobs. And I've left the back black. I was thinking of giving it a brush of maybe a little bit of gold, but I left it in the end. I quite like just black with the feature on the front. I've put 2 signatures in this little guy. I wasn't going to put a closure because I was thinking I'm not going to make him too fat, but I know that every time I say that I end up making him a little fat. He's not too bad. And this is just after. They're always a little bit fatter to begin with. You know, when you coffee dye the papers, they're a bit, you know, 5 papers can be this thick. So this will flatten a little. Anyway, I've just put a, I don't know what this is. It's some sort of fabric ribbon. And this little guy, he will go into my Etsy shop. Sometime later today, I'll pop him in. Okay, I'll just do a really quick little flip through. Now this journal, I decided to keep him fairly blank. I didn't want to embellish or fill him up too much because I thought whoever buys it, it would be good for them to do. I just wanted a fairly plain journal, which is kind of hard for me to do. I like putting all sorts of junk in junk journals. Anyway, I've put an envelope on the inside front cover, and this was a beautiful envelope that Jenny Leslie from Hello Be Natural made, and she sent to me in a Happy Mail. It's so gorgeous, and it was the perfect size, and I've popped that in because it's got the blues and the golds, you know, that's on the cover. And inside I've put just like a little certificate, an old certificate. It's an image out of an old stamp catalogue, and I've backed it onto coffee dyed paper, and I thought you could use that as a journal card. But look how gorgeous that is. And it was the perfect size to go in this pocket or envelope. So I've got some heavy coffee dyed paper, and I know a lot of people were calling this a steampunk journal. It wasn't my intention to make a steampunk journal, and I don't know if that is steampunk, to be honest. I mean, it does have one little gear on it, but yeah, it wasn't intended to be a steampunk journal, so there's not a steampunk theme throughout. In fact, there's no theme. I tried to keep it very neutral, and with some darker earthy tones, which is kind of my style. I like earth tone and grungy. It's a heavy coffee dyed paper. This this paper is, it's like floor plans for a house under construction. I found a whole folder full in a curbside cleanup, and the back of them is blank. And when you coffee dye them, the little house drawings, they look quite good. That's some heavy coffee dyed music paper, which I've ripped around the edges just to, I don't know, grunge it up a bit. This really dark piece, this was I was trying out some tea dyeing because, you know, I hate the smell of coffee. So I was trying out tea dyeing, but I wasn't getting a dark enough effect, even though I was putting heaps of tea bags. I don't know, maybe it was the cheapo tea that I was using. And I had them all sitting in a bucket, well, a tub, and I thought I'll just let them air dry. And it was a bit windy that day, so I just popped them in a little bucket with a brick on top. And I threw the extra tea bags, well, I threw all the tea bags onto the top of the bucket. And in the morning, the very top sheet had dried with these really dark, awesome patterns. Like, look how gorgeous that is. So I only had one sheet of this, but I really like how it came up. You know, you can see each little tea bag outline. This is actually, this is some coffee dyed paper out of one of the stamp catalogues. So I used to cut all the little stamp images and envelope images out, and I used to put the listing pages into the recycle bin. But I've found that they actually, when they coffee dyed, they look quite nice, and I kind of like the listing information that they have on there. You know, they've got, this is Gallery Great Britain Officials Continued, and it's got a description, a catalogue number and an estimate. And I just thought they're really great little background pages if you want to stick a picture or an image on. Like, they look really nice. That was just a map of Africa. It's out of an African mythology book that I had. I'm in the middle of reading it, so I could only cut out pages from like the first 3 or 4 bits of the book because I haven't finished yet. This is out of an old diary. It just folds out. This is out of a carpentry book. I love the old, it's I think from the 60s, the book. And I love the little images. They're really gorgeous. Here I've put a coffee dyed candy bag. It's like a glassine bag. But I didn't like the little candy wording on it. It was red and blue and I didn't think it fit. So I put a little trim of that dark paper I showed on a previous page. And I've just put some edging of a really old doily that I've been cutting apart, little homemade flower, and made that into a pocket. And I've popped 2 little tags in there. This is just an offcut of the coffee dyed paper. Thought the staining was really beautiful. Sorry, my fingers and fingernails are really dirty because I've been painting and you name it this morning. Couldn't sleep last night, so I was up really early, like 3 in the morning, painting and doing God knows what else. I've got glue and everything on my fingers. Dirty fingernails. That's another offcut from that paper. So beautiful. Oops. And my fingers aren't working. It is so cold here today in Sydney. Oh my gosh. I woke up, you couldn't even see out the window. The fog was so thick. So that's some more of that catalogue listing paper. See what I mean? It's just like, this one's all numbers. I love it. So this is the middle of the first signature, and this was a page out of, I can't remember, some art catalogue. It had nice thick pages, but the image on there was really pretty. But the top half of the picture had writing over it, which I didn't like, so I just took the bottom half and just made a little pocket. And inside I've just put some coffee dyed lined paper, like extra journaling space. So the threads from the stitching for the first signature is down in the middle of this pocket. Just some fabric. And I've put a little piece of paper there. I like putting the little offcuts of the paper into pockets and stuff, you know, because you end up with so many. Like, even though I used a whole bunch, I've still got these left over. And like, I will use these, but you end up with so many. So I like to put them in the pockets and stuff for whoever buys the journal. They can use them. They can either leave them in there or take them out, use them in a different project or journal. I mean, they'll put their own, you know, memorabilia and ephemera and stuff in the pockets, but I don't like to leave pockets empty. I feel like there should be something in them. So here there was a teeny little hole in the paper, so I just took a little scrap of the coffee dyed paper and zigzag stitched on the paper and then glued that onto the little hole. I really like the effect. They're like, I call them little paper band-aids. That's the back of that paper. It's so gorgeous. See, that's that the house drawing, existing roof plan, proposed roof plan. Oops, my camera focusing. That's the end of the first signature. This is the second signature. This is just an orange. If you're in Australia, you know, you probably recognise it as Origin Energy envelope. They're really thick brown card. I always keep them and cut them up. And I've just put an old photo in the middle. Oh, this paper. My daughter, she's a vet, and when she was at university, she always had so many printouts, and we only had an inkjet printer at home at the time, and I've got all of her old university notes. She was going to chuck them out because that was years ago, and I was like, oh, I couldn't throw out her. She had about 20 folders of paper, and I couldn't throw them all out, all her hard work. And so I've still got them here. She's since moved out of home, but I've still got them here and I've been using them. And I found when you coffee dye them, the inkjet ones, they give these awesome patterns, and they come up really strange colours. So this was a black and white page, but it came up kind of a green colour. And this one didn't bleed too much, but a lot of them you can't see, like you can't tell what the image is, which is good because her veterinary notes, they're all like, you know, little chopped up animals and skeletons and little diseases and stuff. So it's good that you can't tell what they are, but I love the little, you know, image that it leaves. It's so pretty. So look at these old little diagrams in this woodworking. I really love them. So lots of writing space. This was out of a space book. I had kept it because there was a really, really nice note from a father to his son in there, and I had pulled out one page and realised, and then I saw the note, and I thought, I don't know, maybe he threw it out by mistake or something, and so I've kept the book. And actually, do you want me, I know, here, I said I'll be quick, but now, so I'll just read you the note. I know I always get sidetracked, but this is the book, and where's the note? See, there's this really beautiful note down there, and it says, I have now finished reading this book on the 19th of February 1974. Now I give it to my son, Stephen, age 6, in the hope that he will live to see interplanetary space travel become a reality, not just a dream. And I think the signature says F. Ledrook or something like that. But I thought it was a really beautiful note, and maybe the son threw it out by mistake or something. I don't know. But I was going to try and see if I could find him on Facebook or something like that and see if he wanted it still, because I thought it's from 1974. He was age 6 then, and I don't know, it spoke to me for some reason. It was really touching. So I've used I had already chopped, you know, 2 pages out of it, I think. So I've used one, and the other page is still in there, but it's got really beautiful space images, and that was part of one. In that little pocket, this is an old, this is like real ephemera. It's a New South Wales State Lottery ticket, and it says Mother's Day on it. And I found this in a book that I had bought to read. I don't know if she had used it as a bookmark or something, but look how cool that is. It's so awesome. I can tell it's really old as well. And Burwood, that's not actually too far from where my grandmother lived. So I thought I'll keep that, and I'll pop that in there. You can do something with it or leave it as is. I love when you buy a book and there's little, you know, bits that papers that people have used as bookmarks in the middle. That's another pocket with some of that doily and a flower. And in the middle of that, I've just made a little tag out of some of the scrap paper so you can journal on that. And I found in I was with my sister, we were, I don't know, in a curbside cleanup ages ago, and I found a whole photo album. It had really pretty photos in it, and in the front of it was a packet of the old films, and I just love them. I've been hoarding them. I haven't been using them, but my dad's a photographer, and I don't know, I used to play around in his darkroom when I was young, and I just love the old films. I think something's really been lost with digital cameras, but anyway, I thought I'll put a little piece of that in there, and you can use it to make embellishments or something, or keep it. I don't know. Maybe you young people haven't ever seen that before, like in real life. You might have when you were maybe really young, but that's a bit of fabric just stitched on. It's you know, like that old lounge type fabric. It's really nice. Here I've just made a little journal card out of one of the images out of a stamp catalogue. I love the old, I mean, the little stamp images are really nice in the envelopes, but I really like the old document ones. And just backed it onto coffee dyed paper. Actually, I do have a box of really old wartime letters, original letters in the original envelopes that I'll show one day. I was thinking of maybe scanning them because I don't know, I just can't break up the collection, and it just feels wrong. They're all in date order, and that's some of that photocopy paper of my daughter's. Yeah, for now I can't break up the collection. They're too beautiful and they're so old, and maybe one day I could, but I can't now. I was thinking maybe just scanning them and putting them as digitals on my Etsy shop. That way everyone can, you know, have a copy of an actual old letter, unaltered as is, and that way I don't have to feel bad about breaking up a collection. It's just some old lace that I had pulled off something, I can't remember what, but I don't have much, but it's really pretty. Oop. And that's the other side of that envelope. So you can put something in here to show the picture showing through the little window, but for now I've just I put this because I thought it was really cute. I had this tiny little book on making mosaics, and I've used a lot of the pages, and this was the cover, and since the back was blank I thought you could journal on the back. But look, it looks so 70s. Yeah, so you can replace it and put a little picture in there to peek through that window. It's a coffee dyed little Filofax card. And that's the end. At the end I've just put a little envelope copy out of that catalogue. Look at the writing, it's so beautiful. Liverpool. Don't know if that's Liverpool, Australia. And some coffee dyed paper on the back. I really love these images out of the catalogues. And that's it. So I hope you like my little journal. I think he turned out cute. I will be making a lot more mixed media journals. Not exactly like this. I don't usually leave it on a black background. Usually I like cover everything with brown or gold or copper or something, but this one I wanted him to be quite plain and neutral, and whoever gets him can do whatever with him. But anyway, I hope you like him. Sorry this video took so long, and he'll be in my little Etsy shop sometime today, but I take forever to list things, so if you do want him in the meantime, if you want me to reserve him before he's posted on my Etsy shop, let me know and I'll hold it for you. Just message me through Etsy. Anyway, thanks for watching. Catch you later. Bye.